Thank you. 3 people are recovering from their injuries right now, and 2 more people are dead after a shooting late last night in the lower 9th Ward.
Detectives say those 5 victims were inside of a red Nissan when shots were fired in the 5400 block of Andrew Street.
He did not deserve to lose his life.
Hi, I'm Jessica Cartalia. Police in New Orleans are investigating several shootings that happened during the city's Mardi Gras celebration.
How you gonna make sense of somebody murdering you? When you get people get murdered, I mean, they dead. Done. Life is gone.
Shooting outside a house party down in the lower 9th Ward has family and friends pleading for the violence to end.
We have identified who they could be, but we need to confirm that, and that can only be confirmed through community.
We spoke with one woman who knew the victim. She is a friend of the mother, and she very much expressing a lot of the thoughts that people are having on their minds tonight. Why did this happen, especially on Fat Tuesday, and telling us the guns have to go, the guns have to go.
New Orleans, the city where the second line dance with death. Out here, little boys don't grow up. They get raised by corners, bullets, and beef. This that murder capital where funerals be louder than graduations, and they Glock be louder than the diploma. And the endo killers ain't born, they bred young. And one of the coldest names that come out them blood-stained blocks, Endo Bones. Let's take it back, step by step. No cap, no extras. It's facts in the order they came. New Orleans was lit up on Mardi Gras night, February 13th, 2018. But in the lower 9th Ward, while bees were flying and music was jumping, something way darker was brewing. Folks had gathered at a house off St. Clair Avenue in the 5400 block. Some inside, some chilling outside, just vibing. Then right around 8:11 p.m., them phone lines started blowing up. NOPD got hit with 7 back-to-back 911 calls. But this wasn't no fireworks. They was all screaming the same thing, shots fired. In them few hot seconds, bullets tore through the air like they had names on them. When the smoke cleared, Jamal Robinson and Byron Jackson lay dead. Eric Robinson, Fred Henry, and Delvin Wright was bleeding but breathing. That party turned into a war zone, and the lower 9 had seen yet another body drop on a night folks supposed to be celebrating.
And before we go tonight, a final update on our breaking news. 2 people are dead, several others injured in a shooting in the lower 9th Ward. Now, it happened at the intersection of St. Claude and Lizardi. Tan Truong has been following this story all evening for us and joins us now with the latest.
Natalie, on this final night of Carnival, the NOPD is investigating a quintuple shooting. As you mentioned at the top, 2 people are dead. Coroner's van just pulled up to the scene here a short while ago. The body of one of the men is still in the back seat. The other victim died at the hospital. 3 other people were taken to the hospital. Fast
forward almost a year later, January 31st, 2019. That's when the Orleans Parish grand jury came down hard. They slapped that boy Kendall Bones and his co-defendant with heavy charges. Double second-degree murder for Jamar and Byron. Triple attempted murder for Eric, Fred, and Delvin. He even hit both of them boys with obstruction of justice, like they tried cleaning up the mess they made. But Kendall, he got extra heat. 2 counts of being a convicted felon holding that iron. 1 for that Mardi Gras night and 1 from 2 days later, February 15, 2018. On October 21st, 2019, the courtroom lights came on. Jury trial kicked off and stretched 4 days, wrapping up on October 24th. During jury picking, Kendall and his co-defendant tried to get 2 jurors booted, saying they was too crazy with the state side, but the judge wasn't trying to hear it, denied them ASAP. So the defense had to waste their own strikes just to get them out the box. Then on October 22nd, right in the middle of trial, Kendall tried to play it smart. He moved to slice the second felon with a firearm charge off the rest, tried to keep it from tainting the whole case. But again, the judge shot it down. Motion denied. Everything was staying bundled together. Murders, attempted murders, and them 2 gun charges. The heat was staying on. It's like the hate body by Brooke be getting on social media. October 24, 2019, the jury had made up their mind. Verdicts came down like a hammer. But Kendall Bones and his co-defendant got hit with guilties across the board. Second-degree murder for Jamal Robinson and Byron Jackson, plus attempted murder on Eric Robinson and Fred Henry. But when it came to Delvin White, the jury ain't see enough. Both got found not guilty on that one. Now, even though the murders and attempted murder verdicts wasn't unanimous, they still stuck. But for Kendall, the jury ain't hesitate when it came to them gun charges. On both counts of felon in possession of a firearm, one from the night of the murders and one from 2 days later, they hit that boy with unanimous, no debate, guilty as charged. After the trial, both of them tried to shake loose, filed motions for a new trial, tried to flip the verdict. Kendall's co-defendant came with the angle about the non-unanimous murder charges, saying that ain't how justice supposed to work. But the judge was enfolding. On November 7, 2019, he shot all the motions down. No new trial, no acquittals. What was done was stand done. Then came November 22nd, 2019, sentencing day. The courtroom cold, no smiles, no breaks. Both of them got slapped with life, no parole, no probation, no suspension for them second-degree murder convictions. For them attempted murders, they each caught 30 years, all running at the same time. Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel. Kendall's rap sheet got extra weight. For that first gun charge from the night it all went down, February the 13th, he caught 15 years. They hit that boy up worse than Keith Carroll be doing Byron Cole on Instagram. And for the other one, from February the 15th, they gave him 20 flat. Both them sentences running with the rest, but it ain't make no real difference. Kendall wasn't going nowhere. During trial, they brought in Dr. Aaron O'Sullivan to break down the medical truth. He was a forensic pathologist with the Orleans Parish Coroner's Office, and she handled the autopsies on both Jamal and Byron. He said Jamal took shots to the arm and chest, wounds that ain't give him a chance. That expert testimony sealed what the streets already knew. That wasn't no wild shootout. It was precise, deliberate, deadly. Whole shit was wild. The day of the actual shooting, they looked up and realized Kendall Barnes wasn't done. Dude had more shots left, and he wasn't sparing nobody. He let off again. Kendall blasting reckless, caught somebody else in the crossfire. One of the women, 23 years old, just trying to duck, got hit in the arm. Luckily for her, she ain't get hit nowhere fatal, but still, it was a war zone on St. Claude. Bullets was flying like Popeye's chicken doubloons for the Endymion parade. Now the whip Kendall riding in, that's a blue Chrysler 200, just like the one used in that shooting on Mandeville Street 4 days earlier. Same kind of blue, same model. Truth be told, 12 was already watching for that whip, but they ain't have a license plate to go off. Just a description and blurry footage. But now they had more. Multiple bodies, one car, and a name, Kendall Barnes. Witnesses done said his name. One even recognized him by them signature face tats. And the way he moved, reckless, loud, all gas, no brakes, they knew it matched the vibe from the Mandeville shooting. After the St. Claude hit, Kendall vanished into the wind. Police hit the scene minutes later, but it was too late. Them dudes done died right there on the spot.
Now at 8:12 last night, a group of people were in a car on Andrew Street in the lower 9th Ward when another group started firing shots. One victim there died on the scene and another died at the hospital. 3 other people from that shooting are recovering in the hospital here this morning. Now again, 2 of these 3 shootings did take place near the parade route, and those on the parade route, the witnesses say that all of this violence has to stop.
That woman who got shot in the arm, she bleeding but alert. She telling them what she seen. Panicked, saying she knew who did it. 12 started piecing it together. 2 men dead, 1 woman hit. And Kendall Barnes' name popping up like the red flags your first baby daddy was showing you. A few days later, that same blue Chrysler show up in the lower 9, burnt out. Somebody tried to toss the evidence. Wheels melted, windows blown, back seat cooked. But them detectives, they ain't dumb. They pulled what they could. Ink fragments, fire patterns, and they ran that VIN. Came back to a rental, but the person who rented it gave a fake ID. Whole thing smelled like a setup for show. That's when the crime lab came in hot. They ran shell casings from St. Claude through the NIPIN system. Bam! Same gun used in the Mandeville shooting. Different location, different day, same burner. Now they got a direct link between 2 homicides. One thing missing, a second shooter. Cause word on the street, Kendall wasn't solo dolo. Somebody else was in the whip with with him, maybe behind the wheel, maybe clapping too. 12 put pressure on the neighborhood. They hit the blocks heavy, patrol flooding the Ninth Ward and St. Rock areas. Dudes getting picked up for petty warrants, also they could squeeze them. You know how it go. They want somebody to flip, somebody to say what they know. Problem is, everybody's scared. Kendall Barnes got a rep. Ain't nobody rushing to snitch on a dude known for airing out or busting that tool. But one tip did come in quiet. Anonymous call, voice disguised, said that was Kendall. He hanging with that Groves boy. That name, it rang out to homicide detectives like an air horn. Derrick Groves, aka Woo, young, known for trouble, already on radar from other incidents. Now he linked to the double murder. Shit just escalated. Detectives pulled up phone records, social media, all that. Started tracking movements. Kendall's IG shows pics with stacks, emojis, coded captions like free smoke, and who next? Woo? More low-key, but he liked every one of Kendall's posts and dropped a shh emoji the same day at the St. Claude hit. That was enough for 12 to start watching both of them. They building their case, all off social media. 12 desperate for an arrest before the block explode again. Now fast forward a couple of weeks. Kendall got caught up on a probation violation, unrelated, but once in custody, they pressed dude hard. That boy lawyered up quick, ain't saying a word, but in the meantime, ballistics came back from yet another shooting, Ursulines Avenue, same damn gun. Kendall been on a spree, different target, same heat. 3 shootings tied to the same pistol in less than 10 days. Cops hit his crib with a search warrant, find ammo, ski masks, burner phones, no murder weapon, but enough to hold him. He booked on weapon charges first, then homicide. That's when they go public. NOPD hold a press conference, say they got Kendall Barnes in custody for the St. Claude double homicide. Say more arrests coming. They don't name who yet, but they drop a hint. We believe others were involved.
In a separate and equally concerning incident, gun violence in the lower Ninth Ward last night led to the shooting of 5 victims, 2 of whom have died. We believe these homicides and several other recent outbreaks and violence in the 5th and 6th districts are linked to vicious gang activity perpetrated by suspects who are known to one another.
Now the streets is buzzing. Everybody trying to figure out who the second shooter was. Woo, maybe? Someone say he just drove. Others say he never left the car. Either way, the DA looking to hit everybody with second-degree murder, no matter who pulled the trigger. That's when you know they're serious. Ain't no plea deals. This case too public. Too many bodies. Too much noise. Derrick Groves, he feel the heat. Thought moving different. Deleted half of his socials. Switched up phones. He knew it was coming. By the time they got a warrant for his arrest, Woo was already ghost. Left the city, maybe the state. A manhunt was going down. U.S. Marshals tapped in. He been gone since May. Posters up, hotline ringing, tips pointing, but nothing solid. That boy disappeared like the hype behind them Popeye chicken sandwiches. Back in court, Kendall got indicted. Second-degree murder for one victim, second-degree murder for another. Attempted murder for the woman that was hit, plus gun charges from people talking life without parole. That boy pled not guilty, but they stacking evidence on dude every month. Guess who they say called him from jail? Woo. He got the calls recorded, coded talk, and stuff like, I ain't folding, you better not either. 12 read between the lines. Still no sign of that boy Woo. Every week that passed, more pressure. Media started catching wind, but they didn't know the half. They called it a gang beef, said it was retaliation. But truth is, this was some cold-blooded, premeditated shit. They came to kill, no warning, no mercy. By the end of 2018, Kendall still locked up, waiting on trial. Prosecutors fighting hard to keep him held. They called him a danger to society, and the judge agreed. No bond. He stayed in Orleans Parish. Meanwhile, detectives trying to connect even more dots. Old cases getting reopened. Any unsolved murder with 9mm casings getting re-examined. They thinking maybe Kendall was behind more than just them 3. In their minds, without Woo, it's incomplete. DA need both shooters to lock it down tight, even if they don't have evidence on Woo. That's how dirty them bitches play the game. They building a case like a house of bricks, one statement at a time, one tip at a time. But time was running out. Witnesses started disappearing, some moving out of state, some too scared to testify. One even recanted, saying they don't remember what they saw. Classic street silence. By 2019, the pressure was building on the DA hard. Kendall Barnes already indicted, but they want want the whole squad. Derrick Groves, aka Woo, still in the wind. 212, that made the case feel half done. So now the feds slide in. U.S. Marshals, task force boys, some people even tapped in with Homeland Security. They pulled every surveillance camera between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, trying to trace that boy Woo trail. Ain't nothing solid. Woo vanished clean, like he rehearsed the move. Then around spring, they got a little break. Woo got a cousin out in Houston. 12 intercept a letter, old school style, handwritten, addressed to him but unsigned. Inside was coded language, talking about laying low and waiting on word. 12 claimed they analyzed the handwriting, matched it to a known sample from that boy Woo school records. Now they certain he out of state, staying silent and playing the long game. Kendall still sitting in Orleans Justice Center. His trial delayed twice, one cause of Hurricane Barry, one cause his lawyer caught a suspension, but the DA ain't letting up. He add more charges. Turns out they got footage from a corner store right after the St. Claude hit. Showed Kendall walking in with a Glock on his hip. Same night, wearing the same hoodie witnesses described. The timestamps matched. Prosecutors called it smoking gun footage. Mid-2019, jailhouse talk start making its way back to detectives. Word is Kendall ain't just waiting on trial. He orchestrating plays from inside. So the feds tap his phone, monitor his visits, and even place an informant on his tip. They building a case for obstruction, maybe even conspiracy. That boy Kendall was playing chess though, but the DA got time and resources. It's straight setting traps. Now in the fall, one of the witnesses from the St. Claude shooting got arrested on a petty charge. When they run her name, they realized she was on the original list of civilian statements from 2018. She's scared but tired. In interrogation, she cracked. She saw the whole thing. Saw Kendall hop out the Chrysler, saw him yell something, then let loose. She said she ain't seen who was driving, but she heard the shooter yell out, "Let's go, D." That D changed everything. 12 already suspected Woo, but now they claim they had a witness that ties his name to the scene. Now them people know they down bad for that shit. D could be anybody. Grand jury gets called up. The DA pushed for an indictment on Woo. October 2019, the hammer dropped. Woo officially charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 1 count of attempted murder. But now they gotta find him, and that warrant, it went federal. U.S. Marshals post him on their most wanted regional list. Tips flood in, mostly bogus. One said he was in the ATL. Another said he locked up in Texas under a fake name, but each lead ended up dry. By early 2020, pandemic hit, slowing everything down. Courts closed, trials postponed, jails locked down. That boy Kendall was still sitting, growing restless. No trial, no movement, no nothing. But behind the scenes, prosecutor using that time to dig deeper. They pulled more jail calls, more texts, even scraped Instagram stories from burner accounts. Kendall still ain't posting, but his people was. Hashtags like hashtag free K and hashtag they line started popping up again. One post showed a pic of Woo's face with "free my slime" in the caption. It got deleted fast, but screenshots don't lie. That gave 12 more fuel. They used that post to re-up the federal alert. Then one of Woo's old school partners get locked up in Slidell. While he waiting to find out, he start talking that he seen Woo buku times in the past year, and he has been back in the state for a minute, just passing through, but he ain't know where he went after that. 12 wasn't satisfied with that, but they logged it anyway. 2021 come, and now Kendall's trial finally get moving. Jury selection began, and already there's drama. Defense say the case got too much media attention, asked for a venue change. Judge deny it, said if a jury can still be picked in Orleans Parish. Trial start July 2021. First day, the prosecution paint Kendall as a cold-blooded killer. Show the store footage, pull up the witness that heard him yell, "Let's go D." Even show ballistic reports linking the Glock to 3 separate shootings. Defense tried to fight back, say the ID was shaky, no fingerprints on the gun. Car was burned, so no DNA. They say Kendall been railroaded because of his tats and street rep, but prosecutors bring it home. Closing arguments hit hard. They show pics of the victims unarmed, caught off guard, said it was a slaughter. After that, jury goes to deliberation. 2 days later, verdict in. guilty on all counts. Kendall Barnes convicted of both murders and the attempted. Judge scheduled sentencing. Kendall still ahead. No emotion, just nodded once like he knew it was coming. September 2021, sentencing day. Family show up deep. Mama sobbing. Pops angry, demanding justice. Judge hand down 3 life sentences. 2 back-to-back for the murders, 1 additional for the attempted. No chance of parole. Kendall shackled up, walked out in silence. The chapter is now closed.
On the promise of justice and deliver on the promise of reform. Late last night, after a 4-day trial, my colleagues and I secured a unanimous jury verdict of guilty as charged on second-degree murder, attempt second-degree murder, and obstruction of justice.
But here's the cold truth. 2 people got smoked in broad daylight. A woman got shot trying to run. A whole community was spooked. But on the real, the community still feel that pain. Every time they walk past St. Claude Avenue, every time they hear sirens in the night, it's a scar deep in New Orleans. A reminder of how fast life can switch from chill to deadly. For real, for real. That's the raw truth. No sugarcoat, no fairy tales, just the cold streets, the hard facts, and the people that got left behind.